gentlemen, you listen to The Engine on WNTH Radio 88.1 FM and YouTube. Johnny Fogel alongside Nick Freeman and Nick Falk. Glad to have you in. Apologies for not being in the station for the first 2 months of the year, but it's okay. We're back now. We're back and we're better than ever. We're excited to have you with us. We're talking NFL draft today. That's what we're going to be focusing on. Nick Freeman and Nick Falk are going to have a mock draft. This is our 1.0. We'll probably come back to this eventually, reflect upon it, whatever. But Nick Freeman, explain to them how we're going to do this.
So, by the way, we're sorry for not putting out content recently. Flu season and finals hit us, but we're going to be back stronger than ever. We're super ecstatic. So, since it's only Nick, Falk, and I, Johnny's going to host and talk about different team needs and stuff. And so, Johnny's going to ask us a trivia question at the beginning. We have not gone through this draft yet. It's completely off the top of our heads. And he's going to ask us a trivia question. If we get it right, we get the first pick, and we'll take odd numbers throughout the draft. And if we get it wrong, we get even numbers throughout the draft, completely randomized. So let's get it going.
And for our rationale, we just have, it's not like, let's say if I was making the pick for the Browns, if I had evens and I had the 10th pick and I was making a pick for the Browns, I wouldn't choose a bad player because the Browns are a stupid organization.
Yeah.
It's based off of team needs and best player available.
Yeah, we're trying to do this if we were the GM, not if what we think the GM is going to do.
Yeah.
Also, we're doing no trades. That just makes it a little confusing. It'll make it a little iffy. So we're just going to do based on that team at the time.
Yeah.
Exactly. But with that all said and done, I've got a trivia question for which one of you guys? Nick Falk. Nick Falk, who was the second pick in the 1998 NFL draft?
I know it.
I don't know.
All right, I got it's
Nick
Ryan
Freeman.
Leaf.
It is Ryan Leaf and Nick Freeman. Would you like?
Wait, 1998?
1998.
Oh, I thought you said 88. Okay.
My bad. It's okay. Nick Freeman, the first pick in the NFL draft goes to the Cincinnati Bengals. Who are you taking?
This is an easy pick for me. Joe Burrow, quarterback out of LSU. He was dominating all season. I think he's clearly the best quarterback on the board. He's 23 years old, which can be seen as a little downside. That's the only downside I can see. Incredibly accurate. He had a historic college football season.
Might have had, I think I'd argue, the best quarterback season in college football history. Now, here's the backside with Joe Burrow. This week, he did say that he has leverage over where he is drafted. A lot of people have gone back and forth on that. Nick Freeman, as the Bengals general manager in this sense, are you worried about that?
I'm not. Joe Burrow's from Ohio. I think he'd be happy to play for the Bengals. I don't see him pulling an Eli Manning, which is pretty much demanding it. He's a great quarterback. I think he can get it done pretty much everywhere. And if I'm the Bengals, I'm not even considering anything else.
Yeah.
You're getting a franchise quarterback. It's not worth taking these calls and trying to get fancy with the pick.
There's no point not taking Joe Burrow. But honestly, I do think Joe Burrow should pull an Eli Manning personally. So I am a little bit worried that it's going to happen.
But Nick Falk, it's not your job to decide that. You are the general manager of the Washington Hardware. The second pick
Redskins.
in the NFL draft. Nick Falk, who are you taking?
Chase Young. This is really obvious too. I think 1-2 is super obvious. Some consider him to be even better than Joe Burrow, which I think Joe Burrow is probably the best player in this class.
It's a good debate.
Yeah.
Go either way.
It doesn't really matter, but the Redskins really need anything on this team, and Chase Young's an amazing player. He's going to be great
For the next 10, 15 years.
Yeah, he's a surefire pick.
Not going best player available is ridiculous. They have a team need pretty much everywhere. And just an edge rusher that's so disruptive is Chase Young. He might be probably the best edge rusher I've seen coming out, comparable with Jadeveon Clowney, even though they're slightly different. He had 16 or so sacks last year, absolute pressure force in college. You pretty much needed to triple team him every play.
He reminds me of Aaron Donald so much in a college setting, not based on position, but based on the way that you have to guard him. Like, you have to triple team him every play, and sometimes and this is my number one proof, against Wisconsin, which was pretty easily decided was the best offensive line in the country this year. He had 4 sacks against them. 2 of them were strip sacks. Completely dominant. I'd say he's the best player in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
But with that all said and done, with the third pick in the NFL draft, Nick Freeman of the Detroit Lions, who are you selecting?
This is a pick there's a lot of debate around. There's a lot of talk about the Dolphins maybe trading up, the Raiders maybe, a lot of teams here. I'm going to Tagovailoa.
Yep.
The Lions are, in my opinion, a team that was terrible last year because Matthew Stafford was out. They still have talent. They still have, they still don't have that many gaping holes. They have holes, like a lot of people have Jeffrey Okudah, but to me, Tua Tagovailoa is another amazing quarterback. If it weren't for injuries, he might be the first pick in this draft. He's an outstanding player, and you also have a quarterback in Matthew Stafford who you definitely can start for the next season or two. before him. Let Tua Tagovailoa heal from his injuries. Make sure he's completely healthy. And my main reasoning for taking Tua here is the Lions have a pretty talented win-now team right now. I don't think they're going to get a top 3 pick again for a while. They're definitely not planning on it. I think take the top quarterback while you have him. If maybe they make the playoffs this year and Matthew Stafford looks like he has another few years, then you trade him. But I think not taking Tua is the easiest way to regret it.
I think realistically, this Lions team, totally, at the beginning of the year, I thought this team was contenders. They were close in pretty much, like they lost to the Chiefs by 3. They were close with the Packers both times. I mean, they pulled a classic Detroit Lions lose. They were up 17 points against the Packers in Week 17. But this Lions team is totally talented. Marvin Jones, Kenny Galladay, this defense is young and hungry. Matt Patricia kind of needs to win next year or else it's his job. This Lions team could be dangerous next year potentially.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with taking Tua, but realistically, I think some team is going to want to trade with the Lions, and I think the Lions could get great value and maybe even take someone like Jordan Love later.
But
because they don't need Tua, so why not take another risky quarterback without giving up nearly as much?
But, Nick Falk, you're the general manager of the New York Giants. That's none of your concern now.
Yeah.
With the 4th pick in the NFL draft, who are you taking?
Okay, so in these scenarios, lots of people are actually having the Giants take an O-lineman. I'm just going to go with Jeff Okudah here. I really think they need a corner. Their defense is awful.
He's quarterback out of Ohio State, by the way.
Quarterback out of Ohio State. He's just really good. He has all the intangibles. Maybe the only thing he's lacking is maybe elite corner speed.
But
other
it's
than
the
that,
NFL.
he's physical. He's great in press. He's great in zone. I mean, I really think he's great. And Janoris Jenkins,
He's on the Saints now.
Yeah, no, he's gone.
Oh, yeah,
That's what
yeah.
I mean. And I mean, he wasn't that good anyway. So they really don't have any help in the secondary.
And Ohio State probably produces, if not the best, one of the best college. Like look at their track list of players that they've produced: Ezekiel Elliott, Michael Thomas. I could name a lot more people. We don't have a lot of time for that, but whatever.
Also,
I trust Ohio
to
State.
the Giants pick, Dave Gettleman. A lot of people have him backing an offensive line. That's because Dave Gettleman is probably going to take one of those tough offensive linemen.
He
He
likes
won't
those
trade
hog
back.
mollies.
But I think Okudah's the best player on the board to shut down corner.
Yeah.
Okay, Nick Freeman with the 5th pick in the NFL draft. The Miami Dolphins are selecting who?
This is also not a very mocked pick. I'm taking Isaiah Simmons, linebacker, safety, edge rusher, every position on the defense you can think of out of Clemson. I think right now Justin Herbert is not that great of a franchise quarterback.
I agree with you. I saw him play at the Rose Bowl firsthand. I really don't trust his throwing ability. He was playing against one of the best defenses in the country, top 5 defense this year against the Wisconsin Badgers. He had under 150 yards passing. He was 13 for 20. He had a lot of rushing yards, but I mean rushing quarterbacks. People have an entire offseason to watch highlights of Lamar Jackson. People are ready for quarterbacks to be running next
I don't think
year.
Justin Herbert's a rushing quarterback, but also what the Dolphins, they said this week that they're really considering taking Justin Herbert.
I think that's smokescreen.
I think it's a smokescreen. That's what I was about to say. I definitely don't think Justin Herbert fits the Dolphins at all, and I think it would be a big mistake not to take him. And why not just wait until next year? Get great quarterbacks.
My logic is the Dolphins are a terrible team right now. Their roster's horrible. Brian Flores did a very good job with them, getting them to 5 wins. I think you get a defender in Isaiah Simmons, who's so versatile. You can put him wherever. He can play linebacker. As I said, he can play any position, and he's going to be so disruptive. You might as well start that next generation with a defender who will fit in any scheme, any way you want him, and be an absolute dog. And also, you can save all that cap space you have for next year, tank again, get a good quarterback, and be even better in the future.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that you need to build a good team through the trenches and not through a linebacker. That's why I would take
Nick
someone else.
Falk with the 6th pick in the NFL draft. The Los Angeles Chargers are selecting whom?
Justin Herbert.
Justin Herbert. Okay.
So, personally, I think Justin Herbert, out of all of these quarterback-needy teams, I think the Chargers work best with Justin Herbert.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I don't think Justin Herbert is a great quarterback, I think the Chargers need to take a chance, and they're not going to get free agents in the future. They're not going to get many other chances like this. So I think it's like a necessity where you need to win now. I was considering Gordon Love, but I don't think that works.
Phillip Rivers is gone. They need a quarterback a lot. I mean,
also,
maybe
Herbert,
you get Teddy Bridgewater, but it's better to draft.
you can't bank on Brady with that offensive line. Plus, you can start Herbert day 1.
Yeah,
he has the experience.
Okay, with the 7th pick in the NFL draft, Nick Freeman, the Carolina Panthers are selecting.
This is a pick I'm not that excited about, but I'm going offensive tackle Andrew Thomas out of Georgia. There had to be some offensive tackles coming off the board. The Panthers do have issues on their offensive line, and they're completely rebuilding. Might as well build it around Christian McCaffrey, get him running the ball more. There's no quarterback here who, if I'm the Panthers, I'm really tempted to take. Andrew Thomas was a 3-year starter in college. I think he comes in and is just going to be a very, very solid, maybe even great offensive lineman. Really trustworthy.
I find it a little bit interesting that Matt Rule, in this hypothetical scenario that we're creating, is drafting a player from a team that he lost to in his bowl game that he was beaten down by, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I know. I agree with that, but I'm not sure what Matt Rule will do, so that's really up in the air.
I'm not really sure what Matt Rule's coaching style is. I mean, Big 12 is not really Big 12 is its own thing, and the NFL is so different from the Big 12. So
if I was there, I would probably try to trade down. I'm not huge on Derek Brown. A lot of people have that fit.
Yeah, I mean, they don't. Maybe I'd take CeeDee Lamb, but they don't really need receivers that badly. Like, not to the point where they would need to pay one like that much, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Nick Falk with the 8th pick in the NFL draft. The Arizona Cardinals are taking
Jedrick Willis out of Alabama. I also think they need to rebuild their O-line. I mean, I thought Isaiah Simmons would be great here, but you snagged him at 5. I think Jedrick Willis, he's a great O-lineman. He's an athletic freak, and I really think they could use that. Also, they just gave DJ Humphries a big deal, which is kind of a shock, but I really think they need to build their team through their O-line.
Mm-hmm.
Jerry Jeudy's really falling in this draft right now. With the 9th pick,
not for long.
With the 9th pick in the NFL draft, Nick Freeman of the Jacksonville Jaguars is going to take.
So originally I planned on going offensive line Jedrick Wills here, but you took him. So if I'm the Jaguars, I'm taking Jerry Jeudy, wide receiver out of Alabama. He's one of the best route runners I've seen in college football. He can be a deep threat. He can do it all. I think he's the number 1 receiver over CeeDee Lamb. He's just more polished, and CeeDee Lamb had the benefit of being the only receiver, and actually that might not be a benefit, but of playing in the Big 12 on that air raid offense.
Yeah, Jerry Jeudy going into the year, he was projected a top 3 pick, and he kind of fell off a little bit in mid-season, but against Michigan, he put up a great performance. He's a great route runner on post routes. He's a little undersized he's not like a Julio Jones type or anything like that, but I definitely think he's the best receiver in this class.
And Jacksonville's a team, if they want Gardner Minshew to succeed as their guy, they're going to need to put guys like Jeudy around him. They need more weapons.
Yeah.
All right, Nick Falk, 10th pick in the draft, Cleveland Browns. Who are they selecting?
Okay, I got Tristan Wirfs out of Iowa. It's the same thing.
Offensive lineman, by the way.
Yeah, offensive lineman out of Iowa, tackle. He's pretty versatile, but I really think they should build through their O-line too. Lots of people said going into the year with all the talent the Browns had, offensive line was their biggest weakness.
And it was true.
Yeah, I agree with it, and I really think this is a can't-miss pick.
Yeah, especially with offensive tackle Greg Robinson just probably being out for the year, maybe even going to prison. So they're going to need even more tackle help than before. By the way, our top 10, Joe Burrow 1, Chase Young 2, Tua Tagovailoa 3, Jeffrey Okudah 4, Isaiah Simmons 5, Justin Herbert 6, Andrew Thomas 7, Jedrick Wills 8, Jerry Jeudy 9, Tristan Wirfs 10.
All right, there we go.
Jets, 11.
Jets at 11 with the 11th pick in the NFL draft. The New York Jets select
CeeDee Lamb, another great receiver out of Oklahoma. Him and Jerry Jeudy are 2 of the best receivers in the past 5 years coming out. And with the Jets right now, they have needs at offensive line. I think the top 3 offensive linemen are already taken. So my thought process, get Sam Darnold, a number 1 receiver. He hasn't really had a true one, especially now that it's looking like Robbie Anderson is going to leave in free agency. CeeDee Lamb will replace him and do even better. He'll be cheap. They can find those other needs in free agency. I think right now you get a future number 1 receiver who can be there for 10 years for Sam Darnold.
With the 12th pick in the NFL draft, Nick Falk of the Las Vegas Raiders.
Okay, so,
yeah.
Sorry. I actually had Jerry Jeudy going 11 to the Jets and CeeDee Lamb going 12 to the Raiders. So I think I'm going to change it up and go I have to change it up. I'm going to go A.J. Epineza from Iowa, defensive end. I really think this is a player that, once again, we're not doing based on what the Raiders would do, but I think this is a player that John Gruden would like. And someone like a powerful edge rusher that can go along Cleveland Farrell, who's not great. I really think they can make up their last year's mistake by taking him.
He reminds me a lot of Eric Armstead from the 49ers, both kind of interior pass rushers, or interior edge rushers in a way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
With the 13th pick, I'm sticking to the defensive line. This is going to surprise some people. I have Javon Kinlaw out of South Carolina. I think he's my number 1 defensive tackle. Him and Derek Brown are really close. The reason I have him going to the Colts is the Colts, their number 1 need is, first off, they do need a defensive tackle, but they also need a pass rusher. and I see a lot more upside in Javon Kinlaw than Derek Brown getting to the passer. He's an absolute athletic freak. He's going to light it up at the combine next week. I really love his speed and I think he has such high-end potential. He would be my guy if I'm Chris Ballard.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I actually had Javon Kinlaw going 14 to the Buccaneers.
But with the 14th pick, Tampa Bay Buccaneers select.
I'm actually going to have them taking Jordan Love. Now, I don't think the Buccaneers in real life would do this I don't think they would do this in real life.
But doesn't matter.
But it doesn't matter. I think you need to put pressure on Jameis Winston now. You've waited way too long. I don't care if Bruce Arians is there and he's maybe going to change something in that organization. You need to draft another quarterback and figure out what you do with Jameis Winston later.
Jordan Love has that potential, but no way you can start him day one. He had 17 interceptions last year.
That's why Jameis Winston's fine.
Also, Jameis Winston threw 30 interceptions last year. Or was it 30
think
turnovers total?
Well, interceptions.
To be fair, Jordan Love threw like 16 touchdowns and like 15 interceptions.
I mean,
yeah, 20 and 17 in Utah State.
Yeah,
Jameis Winston's a beast. I mean, nobody's denying it. 5,000 yards, 30 touchdowns, 30 picks, 7 pick sixes. I mean, I think he was the most turned over quarterback in NFL history, something crazy like that. If he wasn't, he's top 3 now. He reminds me so much of Brett Favre. It's ridiculous.
Love has the intangibles and upside, but I don't think he is going to be a franchise quarterback. He just doesn't have the skill we've seen so far.
I really like Jordan Love after what I saw in the Senior Bowl, so that's why I took him there.
With the 15th pick in the NFL draft, the Denver Broncos are going to select
I'm going Derek Brown, defensive tackle out of
Auburn. I think,
Yep. He's an absolute freak, 320 pounds, great run stopper, pretty good pass rusher. I think Derek Wolfe is getting old for the Broncos. They need interior help. He's a stud also. He really is he's a top 10 player in this draft, arguably.
Yeah, he definitely fell.
He did fall a little bit. He probably won't go this low in real life. But I think Vic Fangio would love having him. He's such a disruptor. I think he's a great fit with Denver.
Yeah. I actually had him originally going at 9 to the Jaguars.
Yeah, Denver needs wide receiver help, but it's such a deep wide receiver class. I think they can address that later.
With the 16th pick in the NFL draft, the Atlanta Falcons select Nick Folk.
I'm going to go with Christian Fulton. I think they just need a corner who can produce normally. They just need any defensive help at all, but especially on that cornerback. Because, I mean, what else? The Falcons have a lot of needs that are already filled, but corner, I mean, Trufant is really falling off, and Brian Poole, I think, is going into free agency. So
yeah, Fulton's pretty solid.
Yeah, he doesn't have the athletic intangibles like some of these other guys, but I think he's he's performed really well in college.
With the 17th pick in the NFL draft, Nick Freeman, big pick, Dallas Cowboys.
I was originally going to go with Christian Fulton, by the way. A lot of the guys who I think Dallas will consider are off the board because they mostly need interior presence and defensive backs.
Let's just say this Cowboys team is completely loaded. This team's loaded.
I'm going to give him another cornerback. I think this is a bit of a reach. I'm going C.J. Henderson out of Florida.
That is a bit of a reach.
He's a great athlete. And with Dallas, you're assuming Byron Jones leaves in free agency. It looks like it, assuming they get Dak and Amari Cooper, which is, I think, smart. And there's no player out here or available right here who absolutely...
I think I would have taken Xavier McKinney out of Alabama.
He's too safe.
He's a defensive back.
Yeah. I think they need cornerback more. Well, maybe equally, but I think right now cornerbacks can be more important to their championship run if they want to.
If they would like to, yeah. I can see it happening.
I definitely think C.J. Henderson's the more risky pick. I like C.J. Henderson a lot more than other people do, so I don't think it's a reach.
He has getting burnt issues. Also, apparently he's a pretty quiet guy in the locker room, which usually I would be down on, but with the Cowboys team, that might be exactly what they need.
Yeah.
Yep. So, with the 18th pick in the NFL draft, the Miami Dolphins get this pick from Nick Folk, your Steelers. Who are the Dolphins taking at 18?
I have Josh Jones out of Houston, another O-lineman. I had, I think we had the Dolphins taking Jedrick Willis earlier.
No, it was Isaiah Simmons.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So, that was in my mock draft. Sorry about that. But, okay, so I really believe that they should build their team through the trenches. I actually had them taking 2 O-linemen. I had them taking Jedrick Willis in my original mock draft.
It's Jedrick Wills.
Sorry about that. And Josh Jones is a real athletic freak. And I really just think you can't go wrong here. They need every need.
He was a 4-year starter in college, which will be helpful.
I like what the Dolphins is. If I'm a really bad team, it's honestly, for me, it's a really easy formula. Protect the quarterback, get someone to go get the other team's quarterback. That's really what you should be doing.
I like that.
Yeah, it's a pretty. I mean, look at good teams like you look at the Ravens, you look at the 49ers. They have people to protect the quarterback. They have people to go get the other team's quarterback, and they have their quarterback. Boom, they're in the Super Bowl. With the 19th pick in the NFL draft, the Las Vegas Raiders from the Chicago Bears select who?
I'm going Henry Ruggs, wide receiver out of Alabama.
Wow, he fell. Okay.
He did fall a little bit. They earlier addressed defensive line with AJ Epineza. I think getting a receiver is huge here for this Raiders team. Tyrell Williams was their number one guy last year, and I think getting Henry Ruggs here, he might run in the 4.2s at the combine, absolute speedster. They also have Darren Waller. I think it was a big issue last year, the Raiders receiving core. It was one of the reasons they were kept out of the playoffs. Having a guy like Henry Ruggs who can just stretch the field so well, run pretty great routes. His percentage in college, he had, I think, 24 touchdowns on 98 catches. It was something crazy like that. And I think he would be a great fit for the Raiders right now. John Gruden would love someone that fast.
Nick Freeman, quick question for you. If you're the Las Vegas Raiders and you have your quarterback Derek Carr, he's a free agent, do you want to keep him or do you want to draft a quarterback later in this draft?
I think you definitely want to keep him because I don't think any of these top 4 quarterbacks have a chance at a starting role on this team.
Yeah, maybe Jacob Eason later.
I think Fromm's better than Eason, but yeah,
Well,
I know I'm not too excited about any of them.
Yeah.
Regardless,
I would have Derek Carr.
We can talk about that another day.
with the 20th pick in the NFL draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars from the Los Angeles Rams select who?
Okay, so I originally had T. Higgins going here, but you took
T. Higgins is available.
Yeah,
He's
no,
available.
but
Oh,
you
okay.
took a receiver earlier.
Oh yeah.
So I'm actually gonna go with Grant Delpit. I really think they could use any help on defense because lots of their great defensive team 2 years ago that went to the AFC Championship against the Patriots and probably should have won is really losing some of its great players. They're getting a little older, like AJ Boye.
Yeah, but they Grant help it. That was bad.
Oh,
I'm sorry, that was terrible. Okay, keep talking.
Okay, yeah, he's a Swiss Army knife. I really think they could use him anywhere. So
Was supposed to be a top 10 pick this year. He's fallen off. He's had some tackling issues that might be due to injury.
Yeah.
But he has great coverage
Miles
skills,
Jack-
which will be huge.
Miles
there.
Jack fell off a little bit. They're gonna need a little bit more speed on defense too.
Regardless, Nick Freeman, 21st pick in the NFL draft, the Philadelphia Eagles
I'm
select.
going T. Higgins here, wide receiver out of Clemson.
Okay.
They need pretty much any kind of receiver, and I think the 2 best receivers available, T. Higgins and Laviska Shenault.
I was also thinking Justin Jefferson out of LSU.
I'm not big on him at all.
I see.
I agree
my
with
theory. My theory with that is Joe Burrow carried him a lot. Like he was a
Yeah.
decent route runner. He's fast, but Joe Burrow was just making really good throws.
If you're the Eagles, do you want a slot guy, or do you want a guy like T. Higgins who can play like an AJ Green, 6'4", great athlete? He's also really fast.
It's the kind of players that the Eagles like too. I definitely agree with the T. Higgins.
I don't know how well he fits with Alshon Jeffrey.
But he's similar to Nelson Aguilar, like with his build and like the way he plays.
It's more Alshon Jeffrey.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's similar
like they're
to
both tall, but like they're receivers that they like.
Mhm.
So whatever. 22nd pick in the NFL draft, Nick Falk, Buffalo Bills. Who are they taking?
Okay, I'm going with Laviska Shenault out of Colorado.
Tough.
I love this pick for the Bills. I was really hoping I could get him at this position.
I wanted him at 23 for the Patriots, by the way.
Yeah.
Nick Freeman, if you guys didn't know, is a giant Patriots fan. So
No, never mind.
yeah.
Unsmack the table.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, but I think they did get Cole Beasley and John Brown, but they aren't electric playmakers. Maybe John Brown at times is a great route runner and speedster, but he's nothing compared to Laviska Shenault. So I think they could use any weapons on offense. I think this is a great one out of Colorado.
New England also has had issues drafting wide receivers.
Yeah.
Recently, N'Keal Harry looks like he was a terrible pick last year.
I think he might
With-
turn it out eventually.
With
But-
Shenault, he's so versatile. I think there's no way to go wrong with him. He was asked earlier this year what position is his favorite. He said the direct snap. He's just such a great athlete. I think Bill Belichick would absolutely love having him there,
Yeah.
using him in different ways.
So who are you taking at 23?
Oh, I have no idea. Oh, he's going to the Bills.
With the 23rd pick in the NFL draft, Nick Freeman of the New England Patriots.
On the
selects-
clock.
On the clock.
I'm sorry. I'll go Xavier McKinney.
Okay,
He's-
decent.
yeah,
decent defensive back out of Alabama.
I'm not too excited about this pick at all. But if I'm the New England Patriots, I don't think there's a skill position player they need.
Devin
really.
McCourty is a free agent.
That's what I'm thinking. Devin McCourty's a free agent. Their secondary is starting to get a little old. I think the way they built this team is through the secondary, and I think might as well reload it for the next generation. Xavier McKinney is a safe guy, really solid football player, all around what you want in a safety.
Yeah, I think I originally had Grant Delpit there,
Same.
which I think that would have been a lot better. would have benefited the Patriots a lot more than taking someone like David McKinney, but that's just how the draft went.
With the 24th pick in the NFL draft, Nick Falk, the New Orleans Saints.
So I have a little bit of a reach here. I have the Saints taking Jalen Reagor out of TCU.
Okay.
I really think they need a second receiver. I know Michael Thomas had a great year, but there's no.
He's not going pro.
Jalen Reagor or
Devontae Smith.
Devontae Smith is not going pro. Okay.
I personally prefer Jalen Reagor's a big guy. I think he'll work great with the Saints. They need a guy opposite Michael Thomas, so it's just as simple as that.
I will give you that. With the 25th pick in
Also,
the NFL draft.
Another thing about Jalen Reagor is he might break 4.3 in the 40-yard dash as well.
Yeah,
He's
we're talking about that.
He's an absolute freak.
With the 25th pick,
Titans selecting.
Minnesota Vikings selecting.
I've got the Titans on my board. Vikings are 26.
Vikings. No, I think Vikings are 25.
No, Titans are 29. That's old. Vikings are 25.
Okay,
Yeah.
the Vikings at 25. My bad.
I'm taking Trevon Diggs, brother of wide receiver on the Vikings, Stephon Diggs.
Okay.
He fits really well in this Vikings defense. I didn't do it to be cute with the brothers, even though Stephon Diggs might be leaving. Different story.
6th, 7th Alabama player taken in the
Yeah,
first round.
probably. But he's a really great press corner. He lit it up all year. He had a bit of an off game against LSU, but who didn't against Joe Burrow? And his press technique fits really well with this Vikings schemes. He could replace Xavier Rhodes, and they need cornerbacks so badly, so badly. They can't rely on Harrison Smith and Anthony Harris, their safeties, to do it all in the secondary.
Yeah, Anthony Harris might be leaving too.
Trey Wayne's a cornerback who is, I guess, decent, might be leaving also.
Yeah.
So they really need to fill in that secondary, and at cornerback, I think Trevon Diggs is the best guy available for the Vikings.
With the 26th pick in the NFL draft, the Miami Dolphins from Houston select who?
I'm actually going with another kind of reach. I'm going with Curtis Weaver out of Boise State, defensive end. Once again, we're talking about the trenches with the Dolphins, which I really think they need to rebuild their team. But he had great production at Boise State. I'm not sure how many sacks he had.
I think it was 15 at least.
He's a little undersized, which is the biggest concern, the glaring concern with Curtis Weaver. But I really just think they could use this immediate production.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that pick.
With the where we're at.
He might not be such a great athlete, so that's why it might be a bit of a reach, but he does produce for sure.
Yeah.
All right, with the 27th
Yep.
pick in the NFL draft, the Seattle Seahawks.
Seattle Seahawks, I'm taking Bryce Hall, cornerback out of Virginia. Another super versatile cornerback. He would have been a higher pick. He got hurt this season, though. He might have even gone in the top 20 if he declared last year. He can play zone very well. Pete Carroll loves that. And their secondary, they were just kind of lacking this year.
Yeah.
Shaquille Griffin was their only...
Everything about them, honestly, was lacking to me besides Jadeveon Clowney. And at
Russell
times
Wilson.
DK Metcalf, at times Tyler Lockett, and MVP candidate Russell Wilson.
Yeah, and they need someone opposite Shaquille Griffin. Trey Flowers did not get it done this season. So I really like this Bryce Hall fit.
Yeah, I love Bryce Hall. I think he's good. I mean, I think there's some O-linemen there that the Seahawks could have taken.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's obviously been a glaring need for them.
To me, they probably could have.
Yeah.
To me, I was pretty set on cornerback there, though.
Yeah.
But with
Okay.
the 28th pick in the NFL draft, Nick Falk, Baltimore Ravens.
Okay, so the Baltimore Ravens, they lost a lot of pass rushing and edge rushing by losing to Darius Smith and some other guys. Maybe Matthew Judon. Yep, that's, Nick was showing me, was predicting my pick. I'm going with, I'm not sure.
K'Lavon Chaisson.
K'Lavon Chaisson. Okay. Out of outside linebacker / edge rusher out of LSU. I really just think they could use any blitzing outside rushing linebacker.
Last year they blitzed more than any team in the NFL. They can't really rely on that for another season.
And the Ravens, this isn't a huge need. The Ravens basically are covered everywhere. This is basically a luxury.
Might as well get another bendy edge rusher to go along with
you
them.
can't go wrong with that.
This is a big pick with the 29th pick. The Tennessee Titans select now. You got to take this into consideration, Nick. Are you going to let Derrick Henry walk, or are you going to draft DeAndre Swift, J.K. Dobbins, Jonathan Taylor, all on the board right now?
If Nick Freeman is the GM, he is not taking a running back in the first round.
Yeah, okay,
Period.
so are you going to re-sign Derrick Henry?
Nick Falk.
I'm not going to pay Derrick Henry, but if I might franchise tag him or something.
Okay. It's a pretty big franchise.
I wouldn't go long
for
term.
a pretty
at
big
least.
guy, Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
But who are you taking?
I'm taking Mekhi Becton, offensive tackle out of Louisville. He's an absolute athletic freak. Right now, Tennessee did an outstanding job offensive line-wise in the playoffs. Jack Conklin, the right tackle, is a free agent. It looks like they're not going to be able to afford him, assuming they keep Tannehill and Henry. So I think you got a guy like Becton, who has a lot of comparisons to Trent Brown, the offensive tackle on the Raiders. He's like 350 pounds. He might even do well at the combine. He's that kind of guy.
Yeah.
And I think right now the reason for their success was their offensive line. If they have a hole, fill it. They can't let that go.
Yeah.
So, and also a lot of people have Becton going higher.
Yeah.
I'm not too big on him, but I think he still has the right to go in the first round.
I love that pick. I think he fell, so you have to take him there. I probably, if in that situation he was gone, I would have chosen Gross Matos out of Penn State just to get it.
Matos.
Yeah.
Great name.
To get an edge rusher opposite Harold Landry. But okay, so.
But Nick Falk with the 30th pick in the NFL draft, the Green Bay Packers, who have not taken a skill position since 2015, where they drafted Aaron Rodgers. Is it time to draft a star receiver? Answer the question.
At this position in the draft, I do not think it is. I think you're gonna go with Kenneth Murray out of Oklahoma.
Okay.
I don't think Blake Martinez is very good, and he's a free
Has
agent.
led the league in tackles. I think
that's
3 times?
irrelevant.
He's
It's
so
not
overrated.
irrelevant. He's very overrated.
Have you seen him guard the run?
I don't think anybody's seen him guard the run.
Yeah.
Kenneth Murray isn't an athletic freak like Isaiah Simmons, but I think he can really produce for the Green Bay Packers, and I think there's no downsides to making this pick.
I think what's interesting with the Packers is they were 6th in defensive efficiency and 9th in offensive efficiency, but like defensive scoring offense, they were like 15, 20.
Yeah.
That is interesting.
It's weird.
They just need another playmaker, and of course, receiving is their.
This is
glaring
one of the
need,
deepest
but-
wide receiver drafts in history. They can probably
Yeah,
get in a later
I think they
round.
can get a good guy in the second round.
That's
Yeah.
why I go.
Kenneth Murray's very rangy.
But-
He'll do well. They do need a linebacker very bad.
Moving on, with the 31st pick in the NFL draft, Nick Freeman with the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah, the 49ers are a pretty complete team.
They don't have a pick until the 5th round after this pick, though. So
Wow.
they could look
I
to
didn't know
move.
that, huh?
Would you? There's no trading in this, but if you were the GM in real life, would you move down to try to get a couple more picks?
I would.
I think they probably will.
There's nobody here I'm huge on. I think they will, and I think the Chiefs, who
They
think
don't really
also
need.
don't
They don't
have.
really need anything here either. Like their
Yeah.
team is pretty complete. They're pretty set up. I mean, I'm not a big Jimmy Garoppolo fan personally, but it's not like they're gonna go draft a quarterback to replace him. So,
Mhm.
in my estimation, and you're gonna take a pick anyways. That's why I'm stalling right now. But like they don't really need anything, and if I don't have a pick till the 5th round, I probably want to want to trade down and get a couple more picks.
I agree with that, but this is
A no trade.
a no-trade draft, so I'm going with safety Ashton Davis out of California. He's predicted 2nd or 3rd round by most people. He's a track star originally, super fast guy. I think he's gonna, or the Niners. Sorry, what's his name?
What?
Their safety, Jimmy Ward.
Jimmy Ward is
Jimmy-
probably gonna be gone.
Free agent.
Yeah,
Probably
he's a
gonna
free
be gone,
agent,
yeah.
and I don't know if San Francisco can afford him. So safety is a smaller hole. He had a great season, by the way, Jimmy Ward. Anyway, Ashton Davis, he's kind of a raw guy. I think San Francisco can really develop him under Robert Saleh
Yeah.
to be a really solid safety. He has that athletic potential. He hasn't been playing football for that long. So I think right here's a place where you can take a project if you're the 49ers.
Yeah, it's a
and see what he
luxury
turns
pick,
into.
so why not take the fast project?
Mhm.
Exactly.
All
That's who I had the 49ers taking too.
Last pick of the 1st round, Chiefs have 3 corners slated to hit free agency. They could look to grab one. They were 9th in special teams efficiency, and they were 13th in defensive efficiency. We already know this offense is loaded. Nick Falk, who are you taking?
So
to end
I'm
the first
going
round?
with another playmaker on the defense. I'm going with Patrick Queen out of
I like that
LSU, a linebacker. He's pretty similar to Kenneth Murray, a little faster. I definitely think. I mean, the linebackers have been Daniel Sorensen. He played safety this year, but he was a little bit of a linebacker.
Mhm.
Reggie Ragland, not very athletic. Damian Wilson,
Yeah,
not great.
it's a definite need there.
So I mean, it's a luxury pick, but I don't think you can go wrong with a fast speed linebacker who can maybe get some turnovers, make some plays for the Chiefs defense.
If you haven't heard of Patrick Queen, he's a linebacker at LSU who led one of the leaders of their great defense. The reason he hasn't been on so many mock drafts is because he declared kind of late. It was a little surprising that he went pro, but now that he has, he's definitely a top 3 linebacker.
He's shot up
in
a
this
lot.
round.
He
Yeah.
starting off, he was around the 3rd round actually. So
Mhm.
And we conclude the 1st round mock draft, but keep in mind, because you guys don't like selecting running backs in the 1st round, which I don't disagree with, DeAndre Swift, J.K. Dobbins, Jonathan Taylor fall into the 2nd round.
Yep.
When do you think it's appropriate to take a receiver in the draft, or a running back in the draft?
around 50, I'd say.
Yeah,
This
I mean,
running back class is good.
it
don't
depends the
get me
team.
wrong.
If you're a pretty overall set team with a good defense, I think 2nd round's fine.
Those 3 running backs are good running backs.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so I have lots of them going around 50. like in kind of a.
I think once one goes, there are going to be some that fall because teams realize these are special talents.
I think whoever gets any of these running backs, J.K. Dobbins, Jonathan Taylor, DeAndre Swift, is going to be special. But that's our show for today. Thanks for tuning in to The Engine on WNTH Radio, 88.1 FM, and YouTube. This video will be up in the next couple of hours, periods, whatever time it is. But tell your friends. Thanks for listening.
Yeah,
See you guys
we're
next
glad
week.
to be back. We'll keep it going.
Yeah, we'll keep it going. Tune in to the station later at 7 p.m. to hear the boys varsity basketball game. But have a good rest of your day. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.